All right, get some. Welcome to Racin stuff, the show where we talk about racing and other stuff. As always, I'm Doug. I'm here with my good friend Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. And what episode are we on now? Is this
14?
14? Ooh, so next week is going to be lucky number 15. Our silver. I don't know.
That's 25.
Like I said I don't know.
25 is silver. 50 is golden.
Are we ever going to make it to 50?
I hope so. If people will have us, I'm sure we'll make it.
Yeah. Well, if you will have us, we will. I would say not a great weekend for sports. And since our last episode, which was, like
48 hours ago,
3 days ago on Friday or whatever, there was some stuff that happened, and we're going to talk about the stuff that happened. Which, when I say racing and stuff, that's the stuff. It's the stuff that happened.
There you go, Heidi. Stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, on an offshoot, your friend Deb that keeps talking about us, that all those photos she posted from the NHRA event was cool. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Was she a cat person or something like that?
Yeah, she knew somebody. Somebody that she's close with works for Cat, and they got all the VIP stuff. She wants us to talk. Now that's brought up, we'll bring it up. She wants us to talk about NHRA more, but I told her I used to care and I don't anymore.
I have no clue what's going on in NHRA.
Yeah, I don't.
I know John Force is still around, and I know Tony Schumacher's still around. That's about it.
That's about it. And
Brandon Bernstein, I'm guessing.
And she makes the argument. She makes the argument that NHRA is way more exciting than NASCAR will ever be.
I disagree, but she's welcome to have her opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. I disagree too, because her brief argument, and I know that she watches this show every week, so she will listen to this. Her brief argument is that because I had said, seriously, for the most part, it's 4 seconds of a straight line for about 4 seconds. And her argument is, yeah, but it's more exciting because it's a different driver every 4 seconds.
That wins?
That races, because then they're done and then somebody else comes up.
Well, we have 43 on the track all at the same time. We have 43. If you don't like one, there's 42 other ones you can choose from. But anyway, I'm not here to get into an argument about the NHRA. I'm here to talk about the race at Pocono this last weekend, which maybe we're in disagreement about, but I thought for Pocono, it was a decent race.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I actually am not in disagreement with you. I thought it was a decent race.
What, do you think I wanted to? What do you think? No, Chris, argue with me.
No, I loved it. I thought it was, because we had both said before.
I didn't love it, but it was a better race.
We both said before. Well, you said this before the race, and then I was kind of thinking about it, and I agreed with you that it's kind of like the unofficial first summer race. I mean, back when we were younger, school's out, things like that, and a new broadcast team.
The transition to NBC and NBC TNT is cool. There's no more Digger. That's a positive. Even my dad's like, well, they got Race Buddy. I don't care about Race Buddy. In fact, Race Buddy's pretty cool if you check it out.
Yeah.
On TNT or the NASCAR.com and all that free coverage of the race. Kidding me? That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a decent. I'll use the word decent. It was a decent race. Better than obviously what we've been saying about Pocono recently. And
if you dislike Pocono, there was some late drama, even if it was the strategy kind,
which I love.
Which you love. I don't love it, but it makes it at least interesting, as opposed to sitting there going, okay, that guy's going to win. There was actually a portion of the race where there was some great racing for the lead. You had and there was obviously subplots of who won, which it was Tony Stewart who won. And there was the subplot of the whole double file restarts, shootout style coming in.
Yeah, there were a lot of different subplots, and I guess we'll go there first since we're on that subject.
But the double file restarts.
Yeah, first of all, I don't understand. Is it actually called double file restarts
shootout style? That's what it's called. NASCAR branded it.
I can't believe that. That's
I know.
Kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was saying that yesterday. It just irritates me that they felt like they had to give it their own special title. The shootout style.
You had said, Doug had said, or you had said the other day. Just call it what it is. It's a double file restart.
It's a double file restart. Even more so, you've been doing double file restarts. You've just been doing with the lead lap cars in front now. That's the only difference, really. Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you think it made that much of an impact?
Not in yesterday's race. It will eventually, but not yesterday. You keep talking about the time that Gordon yo-yoed during the race, which I apparently was completely oblivious to happening. But apparently that was a byproduct of the double file restarts by what he was saying after the race.
Oh, yeah. I saw his... Yeah.
He's the only guy who seemed to not like it.
Yeah, well...
I got fell to the back. I don't like it.
Yeah, well... And what happened in yesterday's race is Jeff Gordon was a top 5 car. He was 4th or 5th. He was a top 5 car.
Somewhere between 4th and 7th
Yeah.
all day.
He was a top 5 car the whole race, and there with about the midway point, a little bit past halfway, he just, and I paid attention because you pay attention to your drivers, and he just dropped like a rock. He dropped to the last car on the lead lap. He dropped to 28th, and he ended up staying out.
He tried to catch the rain.
He tried to catch the rain, didn't
for a
work,
second.
and then he ended up you might disagree. He probably made it back to the top 10. He was running 12th before the fuel mileage stuff, and he ended up finishing 4th because of the fuel mileage. So he ended up getting back to where he was. But yeah, he had said after the race that it was crazy to him, and he was trying to be nice, I think.
I don't know what it's good. I think it's a great idea, and more so, if nothing else, you shouldn't have the lead lap cars up there. You just shouldn't. Just because they get in the way.
You mean the lap down cars?
Yeah, lap down cars, yes. I've been doing that all day, saying things I don't mean. You should have the lap down cars behind the leaders no matter what. And this works. This is exciting. And, NASCAR, it's almost like a reach of desperation because it's like they're almost looking at the ratings going, oh, my God, look at the ratings. We got to make this change, make it more exciting, which is funny because it's like if they were going to do anything to make me more interested in the Pocono race, that was going to be it, like a rule change, And so that was good. They need to bring back shifting, though. Because, I remember back they changed the gearing a few years ago and nobody shifts anymore, and it was just the racing became worse than ever.
Well, I remember there were several years at Pocono where it was interesting because some drivers did and some drivers didn't.
Shifting?
Yeah, some did and some didn't. Not everybody did.
Well, they should have because the ones who did were doing well.
Oh, yeah, because I remember...
Pretty much everybody was.
No, I remember there were some drivers because they were
like,
hitting like 9,600 because they weren't shifting.
I saw pretty much everybody doing it.
Oh well,
when they changed the gears, everybody was pretty much doing it because everybody realized you kind of have to.
Wait, are you talking about shifting or not shifting?
Shifting. Everybody was pretty much doing it by the time they changed it to not shifting. Well, they didn't change it to not shifting. They changed the gearing so that you couldn't shift without blowing your transmission.
Yeah.
Unless you're Robbie Gordon, who tried anyway and blew his transmission. But anyway. But the thing is, I seem to remember everybody doing it. I remember Gordon like taping his hand before the race because he knew it was going to be shifting all day long. And all that.
They need to go back to that.
They should go back to that
because it made it even more unique because
it was at least
an oval.
And I think it made some difference too. But like the first race after they did that, it was even worse than, like I said, it took something that was bad and made it worse.
Yeah.
But,
it was a pretty decent race. Like you said, I remember there was some big battling for the lead with Biffle and Edwards and Johnson.
Johnson had a great three-way battle by around lap 45, which isn't that far into the race, but it was cool to see. And it was like, wow, there's racing going on because not usually it's a parade at Pocono. But it was a cool little part. And actually watching Stewart come through the field was funny. It was funny when my father, who's a big Tony Stewart fan, went to see a movie instead of watching the race. He gets back around lap 120.
Yeah.
And Stewart was like in third at the time. He was like, wow, Tony got up to third. I was wondering how long it would take him. And we were like, it took him 20 laps. He was in the top 10 by like lap 25.
Yeah, it was impressive.
You know what's crazy? That was a Haas car from last year. That was one of my major arguments against the idea of Stewart doing well was that, well, he's driving the same cars that were running 30th last year. We took a car that ran 30th last year, won with it. I'm like astounded by that fact.
And now we said yesterday it's no longer impressive, it's expected.
Yeah, because you said something like he continues to impress me. I'm like, at this point I expect him to run well now because he's done it consistently over the first 14 races, and he's won one of them. He won the All-Star race. He gets a top 5. If he doesn't win, he's finishing second, third, or fourth. It's ridiculous, really. And look at it. He's got a 70-point lead right now. He's starting to become the favorite. He's not just a contender. He's starting to become the favorite.
Yeah. What really, really amused me with yesterday's race, and I think the race coverage did a good job of highlighting this when it was happening. It kept scaring me. He was letting off so early that it sounded like his engine was dying.
It sounded like he was cutting off his engine, didn't it?
He was a good 500 feet or whatever from turn one, and he was letting off. And man, I'm surprised he saved that much. But then again, with that great audio and great in-car that they had, I'm not surprised. He was. I mean, it wasn't his team. It was Edwards' team that was like, I don't want to see a lap under 58 seconds. And they were just.
Bob Osborne told Carl Edwards at one point, I don't want to see a lap under 58 seconds because he told him to save fuel.
They were just backing